What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt Taville with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua views Tyson Fury sparring him as an advantage to beat him in the future. Of course, we know a few weeks ago, Anthony Joshua raised some eyebrows when he offered to come help Tyson Fury spar to get him in preparation of fighting Deontay Wilder. Okay. Fury and Joshua have traded words quite often over the last few years. Of course, Joshua has got his belts back, but now Joshua is taking the Vladimir Klitschko approach. And let me explain how he did that. Klitschko himself, who ruled the division for many years, for actually a decade, he actually used Joshua and Deontay Wilder as sparring partners, okay? But the irony of it was Joshua ended up stopping Klitschko, but that could have been that could have been either way, okay? It is pretty much one punch away. If that uppercut wouldn't have landed for Klitschko, Klitschko probably would have executed his game plan. Because what he wanted to do, he wanted to bring Anthony Joshua in the later rounds because he knew Joshua didn't have the stamina, and he proved that from 6 and 7. He just happened to recover because he had the heart of a lion. That's why he was able to withstand those rounds and take those punishment. But Klitschko didn't put it on him like he should have. Okay, he should have actually blitzed Joshua and took him out early versus let him get his second win and got caught with that uppercut and then ultimately got knocked out. But Joshua sees the potential sparring session with Fury as a big advantage for a future fight. He says it's all for experience at the end of the day. What I learned from myself and who I am, if I make a mistake once, I don't make it again. With Fury sparring him for the first time, maybe for my benefit, I might go in there and just batter him around the ring. He might batter me around the ring, Joshua said. He said, and if that's the case, I know I can take my notes and go back when I'm ready to fight him and correct all of my wrongs. Everyone's like, you wouldn't do it, but no one knows how my brain works. Everyone talks from their own experience, and I can only talk from my own. So when I say I go spar Fury, it's because I have a plan in my mind that no one will really understand. I'll beat him. Okay. So he's basically saying if he was going to spar Fury, he would do it for the benefit of fighting him in the future. That would be the only reason. So it's not really to help Deontay Wilder at all. I mean, that would be the grand scheme of things. That would be the first phase, okay? But that's not the only phase. That's not the end result, okay? Him beating Deontay Wilder would just be the beginning, right? Now, him getting his sparring with him would help him fight, of course, Fury. But here's the thing. Look at it this way. Vladimir Klitschko sparred Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, right? Then he ended up fighting Anthony Joshua and then losing to Joshua. So we could look at this another way. Joshua learned a lot from Klitschko. Why do you think he was so headstrong in that fight? He fought Klitschko like he knew Klitschko because he's been in the ring with Klitschko. So, in fact, it could have been just as beneficial for Joshua, that sparring session, as it was for Klitschko, okay? Like he said, when he fights or he spars Fury, it could be him battering him around the ring or Fury battering him around the ring. But if that either one's the case, if Tyson Fury's getting the best of him in the sparring, he'll learn from it, then come back in a real fight and fix the mistake. Because like he says, he doesn't make the same mistake twice. And, and I kind of believe that. Thus far, I believe that. Why? Because the first loss that he took was from Andy Ruiz. He did not go in there and make the same mistakes. And when he did try to, it was a temptation to go back and exchange, he learned quickly when Andy Ruiz started connecting again. That's when he knew, okay, follow the game plan. Follow the game plan. Let's drop the emotion and start using this brain up here. Start thinking and fighting logically instead of emotionally. Because I think the first fight was more emotional, okay, than any other thing. I got to get him out of here. I dropped him. Now let me take him out. Oh, I get caught. I'm hurt, right? So with This being said, he could probably be using his own methods or using someone else's mentality against him, like he used Vladimir Klitschko's. Vladimir Klitschko knew he was going to fight that guy one day. You know what I mean? Or Deontay Wilder. That's why he wanted them both in the ring. Now, I think for Deontay, it would have sucked for him, and his people knew it, because whatever Deontay, how he performed in the sparring sessions, I don't think that he would have learned from what really happened. So that probably would have been bad for him. So it's a good thing Deontay didn't fight Vladimir Klitschko, because, Vladimir Klitschko was going to probably do the same things, more than likely he did in the sparring sessions, and get Deontay out easy. And then that's the case, we wouldn't even really have the sport where it is today, honestly. Because if he would have beat Deontay Wilder would have lost his belt, then Joshua would have beat then Klitschko. We wouldn't have even had this stumbling block. So it's probably good for boxing, but it's bad for Deontay Wilder, okay? Because Deontay would have been beaten a long time ago, and then he wouldn't have been where he is today, because people would have then start dissecting his career. Man, you got beat by Klitschko, but who did you fight? Nobody. You see what I'm saying? So it wouldn't have been good for him. But Joshua, he was able to fix his mistakes because he's a better boxer than Deontay Wilder. So he knew where he went wrong. But I think in the Klitschko fight, he had problems with stamina and those big bulging muscles and all that. He didn't need that. He didn't need the bodybuilding muscles to fight. And he showed you it didn't stop his power, it didn't stop anything. It stopped his movement. And then he showed Andy Ruiz what he could do. But this is a good plan, because this plan benefits both people. Me counterpunching this, Joshua saying he's going to take the Vladimir Klitschko approach. Look, I think Tyson Fury and Joshua can gain something. They're both elite fighters. They're both the top fighters. If they spar each other, it benefits both. I don't think it just benefits Anthony Joshua. It doesn't cut that way. Vladimir Klitschko thought the same thing. And what happened with Klitschko? Klitschko was beaten by the guy that he sparred with, because it cuts both ways. It's a double-edged sword, people. Okay, so when these guys are sparring with each other, it's like, okay, they're both learning from each other if they're smart. If they're in there to learn, which I don't see why they wouldn't. You know what this guy does. You know his habits, because a lot of fighters are about habits. There's not really, mistakes. Well, certain habits are mistakes, but certain habits are just things that people do, and you can captivate on it or capitalize on it. So, with Tyson Fury, I think they should spar, because I think it makes them hungrier for each other at a later date. It's almost like a pre-fight. Like, let me see what you got. Let's put this headgear on. Let's put the pads on. Let's see what you've learned in 5 years, because they already have sparred before, right? Now, that's both at two different times, as a different time frame back then, but they sparred before. Let's see them spar now, because a lot of people doubted Joshua if he was really going to spar Tyson Fury, and he should. Because he's already mentioned it. He's the one that planted that seed. He needs to put water on that seed, let the sun get on that ground, and let that seed sprout up into a plant, because that's what he said. So I think it's a good idea for those guys to spar. Why not? If Klitschko can do it, that's how Klitschko stayed on top. So if Anthony Joshua feels it's a good idea, then Fury, obliges like he's already done. Make them happen. Make those guys spar. I would love to be a fly on the wall. I would love to see those sparring sessions recorded, just like I would love to see Gennady Golovkin and Canelo when they sparred, but they didn't have any reported videotapes on that. But it was people there that witnessed it. So that should be a spectacle to see. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Anthony Joshua saying that he'll spar for an advantage to beat him in the future. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.